G'day, we're David and Paula. Like many people, we've been working hard for many years and we're too young to retire, but we've decided to take a gap year from work. We've bought a new van and we're doing a lap right around Australia. This episode we head to Busselton and Perth and then travel north towards Kalbarri and Shark Bay. And after our experience with our solar, we answered the question, how much solar and battery do you really need? This is just absolutely insane. Hey, g'day. I hope you can hear me. So, one of the most common questions that you get from people, and frankly one of the most common questions you ask yourself is how much power, how much battery do you need, how much solar do you need? We've got 720 solar on top and 400 amp hours battery. But I thought I'd just give you this quick example so that you can keep in mind what you might need. This is Jarvis Estate in the Margaret River. And lovely spot, and the guys have, the team have looked after us well here. But as you can see, as beautiful as the spot is with the outlook, and as peaceful as it is, we've got big trees all the way around us. So basically this site in good weather gets at best about 2/3 of the day sun onto the solar, and then after that it's heavily shaded. So the only problem that we then had is that we then had 3 days bad weather. Bucketing down, and that actually meant that the sun that we're even getting in for that 2/3 of the day wasn't very good. So we've ended up probably about the lowest that we've been anywhere on our travels. We got down to under 40%, and as you know, with lithium batteries you don't want to get down to 20%. 20% is essentially the limit, and so in this case we've had 5 days fantastic time here in the Margaret River, but no question a few days bad weather. So that gives you sort of an indication. In a site quite shaded in the afternoon and 3 days bad weather, we've still ended up with 40% of our battery. And the other problem for us, of course, is that we've got to head into Perth because our DC to DC charger bit the dust way back in the Flinders Ranges. So we've been surviving on the solar input alone, and even our extra solar blanket has been problematic because that feeds in through that DC to DC charger. So our rooftop solar, of course, goes in through a TriStar separate regulator, so that's been fine, and we've actually survived with that really well, really well. But what we've missed is the fact that we can't top that power up when we're driving in between. It still only relies on what it can get in on the sun. So thank God that we've got the TriStar, but without the DC to DC, that did change our equation a fair bit. But even so, 720 watt solar and 400 amp hours, even with all those challenges, has been fine for us. And I think the only thing that we would ever change is that whatever little bits of real estate we've got on the roof, if I could get some more solar onto that, I would. So if someone tells you you absolutely need 600 amp hour batteries or you absolutely need 800 amp hour batteries, I'd question that. That ultimately just depends on your usage, and not everybody is going to live in a caravan as their forever home. So sure, you got 3 kids, family of 5, forever home, no other alternative. You might want 600, right? You might want 800. You might even want a 48 volt system or one of those other sorts of things. We've got gas, right? And there are some people who are sort of saying, let's go all electric. I get it. Those induction hot plates use a lot of power. So just keep that in mind as well. And we've actually found that the gas has given us quite good versatility, so in weather like this, we haven't had to worry about running down the battery using induction induction hot plates. If we've got tons of solar coming in, we pull the induction hot plate out and use that to save our gas. So at the moment, my view is that most people still want or still need the versatility of having both systems, so both battery and gas. For people like us, two of us, on the road full time, off grid a lot of the time, normal usage, moving every several days, maximum stay in one spot of say a week, and with variable weather, if everything's working fine, that 400 amp hours is more than adequate. I just sort of throw that out there because we're seeing an awful lot of people being told that they need to incur the extra weight and the extra cost of bigger lithium systems, and our experience is that no, you don't. It ultimately comes down to how are you going to use your van. And hopefully this is just a bit of an example. Let us know in the comments what you think, because this is another one of those issues where people have very strong views and very strong. .7 kilometres and we're at Busselton Jetty. So we're heading to Perth. We've got to get the caravan serviced, and we'll just take our time getting up there. So we thought we'd stop at Busselton, and it's actually ended up quite nice here, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a nice morning.
Grab some early lunch and a cup of coffee at the local brewery. I know that sounds like a silly thing to buy at the local brewery, but anyway, that's what we did.
Busselton Jetty's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good. The sun was out.
Well, the sun wasn't really out.
It's not a hard walk.
Yeah.
It's just 1.7 both ways. So you could take your time.
We looked at the different tour options, didn't we?
Yeah. It got a bit confusing, but yeah, we did. But we've opted for the self-guided tour at the observatory.
Yeah.
Which was really just you taking yourself down. They didn't give you anything to tell you what you're looking at.
But for us, 15 minutes was enough.
15
really.
was enough for us.
Yeah. And frankly, sitting in a big crowd for the guided bit couldn't quite justify that.
Yeah, it was a bit squishy actually.
Yeah.
I suppose that's because you're underwater, so we should be used to being squishy. We're in a caravan.
But it was good. It was good, and the walk out was good, and the walk back was good.
Yeah.
Bit blowy, but look, it's a half-day trip. You've got some options as to how you get out and back. Either the train or walk out. And we chose to walk. There's that brewery, which is sort of good coffee breakfast or coffee brunch lunch, and we were a bit early in the day, so we didn't do the brewery bit, but the coffee was good, and we had a nice bagel and those sorts of things, sort of because we hadn't really had breakfast. We had fruit when we set up and went for that, so that was good. So good options. What do you reckon about half a day? You can spend an easy, nice, comfortable half day.
The foreshore area is really nice.
Yeah, really nice. Anyway, we're going to go and find ourselves a pre-camp, and then tomorrow we're in
Perth.
Okay, we'll see what's in Perth. Okay.
See ya.
We dropped the van in for a major service, and to get the DC to DC charger fixed, checked into one of the hotels and decided to take a few days off in Perth and visit some friends. There's heaps of things to do in Perth, but if you haven't got much time, at least drop in and see Kings Park and the Botanical Gardens. Yeah, we free camped last night and needed to get back on the road sort of pretty early, so we decided not to have breakfast and coffee in the van, which is sort of unusual for us. And we thought we'd just grab something on the way, and we had no idea what was around, and so we just Googled something, and we got this this place, Hole in the Van. Yeah, Hole in the Van at Lancelin. So I thought, never been to Lancelin, so we'll just go down there. and it was good, just right on the beach, very quiet today, early on a weekday, out of season, and we got some decent coffee. It was a nice little break, and now we'll get back on the road. So last night we stopped at the Ogilvy truck stop. It's just a rest stop for trucks on the highway going north, and there's a gravel pit down behind at the back of it, and all we do is just ideally try and find somewhere which is just tucked in, and here you go. Of course, we've come to the Skywalk at the hottest part of the day.
We have.
Note to self next time, don't come in the middle of the day. These flies.
Kalbarri Skywalk, and I'm on a mission to go over to one of the ledges now. It's pretty here. Heaps of facilities, lots of toilets, lots of car parks. But to our surprise, when we came through the gate, we were told we had to unhitch the caravan, so might be something for you to know. There is a little park to do that. Water in the river, which is really nice, and you can actually hear it from the Skywalk. Anyway, don't look at me, look at the scenery. It's beautiful. Now, I'm not a fan of heights, but I actually finding this not too bad as long as I'm not looking down. But other than that, it's really good.
So if you come to Kalbarri, don't forget the Aeroga. So today, what did we do today? We went to the Pink Lake at Hutt Lagoon.
Yep.
That was good. That was interesting.
Yeah, that's good.
Pink Lake, and
We found ourselves a nice little isolated spot so we could enjoy it in peace.
oh yeah,
Right on the lake.
the lookout area wasn't that good, was it?
No.
There, just people tearing in and tearing out, and just a bit of a proverbial bung fight. We got ourselves a little bit isolated. We went in amongst the dunes, and it's the beauty of having a four-wheel drive and an off-road caravan. You can get into a couple of those spots. And we weren't originally going to come to Kalbarri National Park and to the Skywalk and Nature's Window and those sorts of things. Just that, there's plenty to see around the place, and we sort of wondered. And to be honest, if we weren't going down to see the Hutt Lagoon and the Pink Lake, we probably wouldn't have missed going to Kalbarri. So, like, if you're in the area but you've got plenty of time to burn, go down it. It is certainly pretty, and the Skywalk is sort of well engineered and all those sorts of things. But in terms of, in the grand scheme of some of the spectacular scenery around the country, if you've got to prioritise, and this is out of your way, you could give it a miss and not miss it, don't you reckon?
Yeah. Kalbarri town looks quite nice.
Oh, and Kalbarri town, so down by the beach and the ocean drive, that was nice too. So if you're in the area, go out and have a look at those. That probably makes the gorge just a little bit more accessible to people. So we're now going to sort of head back, find ourselves a free camp.
Yep.
And settle in for the night. So we stopped at I think it's the Galena South, the Galena Bridge South rest stop, an overnight stop on the Murchison River, heading on our way up the West Australian coast. And I've got to say, it's quite functional. Got quite busy last night, so not quite cheek to jowl. Certainly there were quite a few vans and cars in here. But I've got to say, some people just don't clean up after themselves, and it's a real shame. Detracts from these places which are otherwise very functional, with sort of good drop loos and some picnic areas and dump points and all those sorts of things. So good on the local authorities and the roads authorities for doing this. But just check this out. So that's just a bag of rubbish that I've cleaned up just from around the area where we pulled up and into the bush. So if everyone cleaned up after themselves, it'd be a lot more pleasant for everybody. Next episode, we keep exploring around Denham, and then we take the four-wheel drive tracks out to Australia's most western point at Steep Point. Very rutted, very bumpy, very soft. Soft. Oh, and I don't think that camera's steady. It's absolutely beautiful. Again, thanks for joining us. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, 100% of our YouTube advertising revenue goes to charity.